general dentistry requires a lot of education. And if you're going to learn to do aligners, endo, all these implants, it's not like a day course. So I think education becomes absolutely essential to clinical growth.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Raving Patients Podcast. As you know, I'm your host, Dr. Len Tao. And first off, I want to go ahead and thank the sponsors, both the Doc Sites and Dental Intelligence, for allowing me to do this on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for them. You'll hear some of their commercials throughout the episode. Today's episode is called Impacting the Future of Dentistry. My guest today is Dr. Lou Graham of Catapult Organization. Lou graduated dental school 40 years ago. He did GPR at the University of Chicago, and his entire professional career has been involved in teaching along with full-time multi-specialty practice since 1985 in Chicago. He founded Catapult in 2003. And with both teaching and Catapult, he feels he has been able to see the ongoing changes in our profession. So please welcome to the Raving Patients Podcast, Lou Graham. Lou, thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure, Len. Always to hang out with you. Love it.
Why don't you let the listeners and viewers know, because it's on YouTube as well, a little bit about what Catapult Organization is, because over the years it's changed significantly from basically a way to promote speakers to a lot more now. So can you just, for those listening, break down what Catapult actually is?
So the concept, now 20 years old, and we'll talk about what we're really going to be blowing out into the marketplace. The concept for the last 20 years, Len, has been that we had about 25 to 30 speakers and about 15 evaluators who did not want to be speakers. We would evaluate products, do surveys to these products, give true feedback, and about 8 out of 10 products, we would give a Catapult vote of confidence. And that's key, because it's not like 5 stars everything. It was they either got it or they didn't. And true feedback to the companies. So then what would happen is, as education has shifted, most organizations cannot afford to bring in speakers. And so what we were doing is we are at the cutting edge of technologies and products, and these companies then co-sponsor our courses. And for 20 years, we've been putting on, joining organizations, and obviously the bigger ones like at Midwinter, I just did PDC in Vancouver. We'd be speaking with companies supporting us, not commercials, but dentistry is product driven. So the products, just like when you talk, these are products you use every day. And that's really been where we've gone. And then during COVID, we developed an amazing LMS learning platform. And we have 4 webinars a month, and we're averaging 700 to almost 950 registrants. So this is what we'll get into. It's all how we're seeing education continuing to change.
Got it. And then you also have a couple of additions to Catapult now. You have soon to be Catapult Grow, and you have Catapult Crown as well. So can you briefly talk about what those are?
You bet. So Catapult Grow will be our launch, a hard launch June 1st of this year. We've been in development for this for almost a year and a half. And most GPOs are all about buying dental supplies at a discount. We'll have that. It's essential to have efficient ordering, and we'll have all that. Getting lab partners, we'll have all that. But really the big savings in GPOs and where we have to go in dentistry, and we really have to go there, is where medicine went. We all have to band together and do group purchasing. And we'll talk about far more opportunities in group purchasing than just dental supplies in a lab or 5 labs. But group purchasing, given all the challenges we have today in dentistry, we'll talk later about why and how Grow will be different. And then the other thing we have launched is Catapult Crowd. And that's a crowdfunding platform that I am literally working together with an Israeli investment group, a bunch of brilliant guys. And if people go to www.catapultcrown.com, that is our crowdfunding platform. So what we do is we evaluate dental companies, startups, and then we give them to the due diligence team in Israel. And if we feel the clinical product with the due diligence works, then we put them on our platform. We've screened over 70 companies thus far, and we have 4 on our platform now and 5 ready to go. So it's really a great way for people to invest really $10,000 and up into technologies that are what we think are home runs. And we'll talk more about it, but that's what we're working on right now.
Perfect. Well, thanks for that breakdown. We're going to cover, obviously, Catapult, the organization. We're going to cover Catapult Crown. We're going to cover a little bit on Catapult Grow as well. So I think that to get into the content part of the podcast, let's start off with going over a couple of questions that we wanted to talk about. So what trends are you seeing in the profession, and how does this affect us?
There are a lot of trends. First obvious trend that's affecting my generation is the fact that the generation of dental students are coming out so heavily in debt that they really can't do what we did, purchase an existing dental practice or really start one de novo. So that's the first trend, and that really does affect a lot. Second trend with those students, many have less requirements to graduate, so they need further education. And without having the money to pursue further education, or that they're joining DSOs, and if the DSOs aren't offering further education, it's a bad trend, very bad trend. And it's disconcerting. And we are addressing that by going to try to teach DSOs, but that's another topic. The 2 most other overwhelming trends right now that face all of us are PPOs. And PPOs in general wouldn't have to be so challenging, but the fact that they do not escalate or increase their fees based on inflation and costs and all these other things, the average practice in the United States takes 7 PPOs. It's almost impossible for a dentist to invest in themselves when you're PPO driven. In other words, you really have these fees that you have to really follow. So I would say PPOs are a huge challenge for us. I think DSOs, and I'm not saying DSOs are bad, not at all, because DSO service, the dental service organizations, fill a specific need. And many great dentists will eventually potentially come out of a DSO and ready to be in their own career in 5 to 7 years, or stay in a DSO, depends on their learning. But I think DSOs, PPOs, and student debt are 3 of the leading trends that dentistry has to confront. Absolutely.
You know, it's interesting. I was very fortunate. I graduated in 1999 from Tufts, so I'm a little younger than you. But my parents paid for both my college and my dental school education, and I didn't realize. I didn't realize how fortunate I was until a number of years later. But I know that a lot of my college, my dental school classmates were, they basically had a mortgage without a house when they left dental school, and now it's become incredibly expensive to go to dental school. I don't even know how some of these kids do it. And like you said, they can't go out afterwards. They can't buy a practice. They have to join a DSO. And then on top of that, you mentioned the requirements have significantly dropped, where they don't have to do as many procedures to graduate from dental school, which I think is affecting the quality of care that's being provided to patients, which I think affects the entire industry. So, these are not, and of course the PPOs, like you said, I was fortunate. I didn't take any insurance in my practice. So I didn't have to, deal with contracted fees and stuff. I still had to deal with some of the, insurance issues because I was accepting assignment benefit as a form of payment. No, I definitely think those are 3 major hot topics right now. So I'm curious, you've been in dentistry for a really long time. I exited dentistry in December, clinically, so I'm not practicing anymore. I'm curious why you care so much about these things.
I think this is the greatest profession, and it's sad when people don't get it. I mean, you get to be your own. Well, in the previous generation, we got to be our own business owners. It was a lot easier. You got to take care of people. If you didn't like the people, you ask them to leave. You have your own team. They become your extended family. And dentistry's always been kind of a ma and pa type industry. And now with all the challenges that we've discussed, we're going to have to move on from being an isolated industry to really much more collaborative industry. And with that said, I think dentists, and I know many are listening, I think we've been on the bottom of the totem pole in our profession where, distributors dictate to us, PPOs dictate to us, and we don't really have the opportunity to be as profitable in many ways. And we can be profitable, but just to practice the way we want. I mean, this is a tough profession. I've had 2 neck surgeries. I get the sacrifice, but I am very dedicated to seeing this profession move into the next decades as a better profession.
It's really interesting. I have the same feeling with a lot of things. I haven't had any surgeries. I just felt it was time to find something else I was more passionate about. And that's why I care about it, because I was in the space for a very long time. And, I'm still very much involved from an education perspective. And I'm very concerned with some of these things as well. So I'm curious how you think these trends relate to education and why you're so passionate about making sure the students and even the current dentists are being educated the proper way.
Yeah, so it's interesting because, again, I'm not going to generalize, but all too often, some of these organizations, DSO organizations, are so productive, so production-minded. It's just so many crowns, and it's crowns and crowns, and that's not the future of dentistry. People are living longer. The more you drill away enamel, the less you have for a rainy day. People who have now 10 or 12 salvageable teeth or 20 getting all on 4s. The literature doesn't support that. People can be yelling at me when I say that, but you can go to Sam Lowe's study of periodontally involved teeth and how long we can maintain these teeth. I've been doing this for decades. So when I look at education, right now Catapult is rolling out a modular series of education in combination with live education to DSOs. And DSOs, they either get it or they want manufacturers to pay for everything. And truth is, Len, the reason I'm successful is I took a lot of courses, I learned a lot, and I learned how to be a really good general dentist. And general dentistry requires a lot of education. And if you're going to learn to do aligners, endo, all these implants, it's not like a day course. So I think education becomes absolutely essential to clinical growth. And I love it. I just got back from the PDC, and a young man, probably in his early 40s, comes up to me and he says to me, "You were my first CE course in 2009 after I graduated. I love listening to you." That's what teaching is. Teaching is sharing. It's not lecturing. It's teaching is sharing. And that's what we should all be doing in this profession, is sharing.
Got it. I feel the same way. I spoke at Yankee Dental this year, and I got my speaker evaluations today. So I had all the comments from people, and it's always nice to read how happy people are with what you do. And, I tell stories. It's not, I love educating. I think it's interesting that the education and the perception of education has changed significantly over the years. And it's, I don't want to say it's difficult to get. Obviously, COVID made it easier to get the education simply because everything's available virtual now to some extent. So let's shift gears a little bit away from education but let's, before we go there, can you highlight some of you've been in the organization a little bit more than I have from an education perspective. Can you highlight some of the top speakers that are within Catapult? I'll have you start naming some of them. So, cause it's been your organization for such a long time.
So it's interesting. We've grown now to 35,000 subscribers on our platform and 80,000 YouTube subscribers who love our online education platform. And we have a plethora of great speakers and new speakers. Some of my quality, what I'd say just great speakers are the Mark Geisbergers, the Ferruti Keems, the Ron Kameners, Tony Tomorrow. He led he's led many institutions. I've got Gene Santucci. I've got Tom Dudney. I mean, I've got some great speakers. And one of our best speakers is Joyce Bassett. She's just, they're all of different talents. And now we have this younger pool of the Miles Cones and the next generation of younger speakers that I just think we just have to continue moving forward into both specialty and in dentistry. And I'm omitting many of them, but they're all wonderful speakers. And by the way, we go through speaker training, evaluation, because like you, Len, you're a great speaker. And some of it comes natural. And if it's not, we got to be trained on how to always be better. I think speaker training becomes very critical to our group.
Got it. So that I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew who the speakers were. So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's start talking about Catapult Grow, which is our GPO, group purchasing organization. So tell me a little bit about why you started this and what makes it unique.
Medicine is 97% group purchasing. Dentistry is like less than 3% or 4%. And the way I'm addressing group purchasing is, first, it's educationally based. So we are manufacturer supported. So what I want to do is when we have we're going to have online education and live education. We'll talk about DPR shortly. So when people join Grow, they will get all of our educational offerings at DSO pricing. So for $199 a month when we launch, you're going to get an unbelievable opportunity of great education, all CE driven, all CE certified, at really, really pricing that everybody can afford. It's so important to me. So education drives clinical growth. That will be the format of the GPO with Grow. With where we're going, I think dental supplies and labs, Len, those are necessities, but that's not the big ticket. So for example, we're working with one company who's going to come and offer all of our doctors customized insurance negotiations. They can go in and save you 8 to 10% of your PPO fees. Just raise them, reimbursements. So if you're doing let's say you're doing $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 in PPO fees. If I can save you 10% on those fees, I can save you about $30,000 to $40,000 annually. So $199 is no investment. Plus, we get discounts with this company. They're going to go over your UCR fees. They're going to go over your credentialing. This is where you learn to save anywhere, I would say, from $40,000 to $70,000 a year. We're rolling out customized credit card processing, the most transparent in the industry. And Len, they presented at our retreat. They're saving average on offices anywhere from $250 to, we've had doctors in our group save over $1,000 a month from credit card processing. So you're talking, you could be saving $5,000 to $15,000 a year from being honestly ripped off by so many of these credit card processing companies. We're going after medical insurance. So here's another really key part of where I want to go. I want to self-fund 1,000 offices who join Grow. And if we self-fund, our insurance reimbursements will go down anywhere from 30 to 35%. Medical insurance is a fortune for my team. And we split it with my team. I pay X amount. But this year it went up like 30%. My assistants, my team members, Len, they can't afford it. So we're going to do it. That's what we're negotiating right now, to come out with a self-funded medical option for all the people who join Grow. We're coming out with the best financing for our patients, so much better than anything that's out there, because it's all group purchasing. If I bring them 1,000 offices, then you can understand that. I bring them 1,000 offices, then 3,000, 5,000, then we're going to FedEx. Then we're going to everywhere else to save money on each part of what we're spending our money on. And ultimately, that means the dentist should be more profitable. So we teach them better. We make them more profitable so they get clinical growth and more profitability. That's why Catapult Grow will be a total different GPO.
Makes sense. And just to confirm, you're expecting a launch June 1st, and the price is $199 per month.
And many of the companies you've introduced me to are going to be partners in that.
Yep.
I
think it's great.
Best.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, all right. So let's shift gears again. Let's talk a little bit about, Catapult Crown. Okay. A crowdsourcing platform to make it easy for people to invest. You've chosen a firm in Israel. Why should dentists look into potentially, investing in this type of format?
Well, dentists know dentistry. So the first company we brought on our platform that we raised millions of dollars for, and all dentist investment. I should say dentists, distributors invested. It was all industry people. Imagine a digital scanner coming into the marketplace, Len, that scans through blood and tissue. It's the size of a handpiece, so it's small. It's as fast as anything on the market, priced under 20 grand, and it can scan a whole mouth, but you prep, no more retraction. It scans through blood and tissue and saliva. Who's not going to want that, Len? I mean, Len, 70% of impressions have faults at faulty margins. That all goes away. That's a game changer. So each of the companies that we're looking at on our platform makes so much sense to us that as a dentist, you really have very few options of getting involved at $10,000 and above with private equity. And so if these companies in 1, 2, or 3 years hits, you're 10 or 30 grand or 50 grand, however you look at it, you could 5 to 10x or 20x your investment. I personally have invested in 3 of these companies because I think they're all 3 winners. And then we get board memberships, so we get to guide and consult these companies. Who better to invest in a dental startup than us? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm a big fan of dental startups, but I have a team that I work with. I have an accountant, I have a lawyer, I have a number of people, and it's funny. They keep saying, "Len, stop investing in the dental companies. Put your money elsewhere." So that's always one of those dilemmas I have as to how much money I want to sink back into the dental space. But I know it so well, so it's a very easy thing to understand. So we covered Grow, we covered the educational part of it, we covered Crown. What else would you like to discuss with the viewers and the listeners?
I think we're an amazing profession. And I think, how do we keep it an amazing profession? And Len, I would say this. I started practicing in 1983. The amount of change from 1983 to the year 2000 biggest changes were introduction of implants and cosmetic dentistry. Since 2000, the changes are so incredible that at our retreat, when I look at companies like Patient Prism and so many others that we are now working with, you start to really understand that our profession is going to be changing. We are going to be far more efficient at everything we do. All the technologies, I mean, we're looking at technologies that at our meeting, at our retreat, that you actually take a digital scan or a traditional impression, take some photos, you design a smile, and then you can prep the teeth and deliver the teeth, the veneers, in the same day. The same with direct veneers. I mean, these changes make things so much faster and more cost efficient. I just think our viewers have to have an open mind to how they want to advance their careers. And I just think you and I and Catapult want to be a part of that advancement.
I think that's great. I was very impressed with a lot of the companies we saw at the retreat. All right. So Lou, before we get information on how to find out more information about these different avenues, I want to go through my lightning round questions with you, just a couple minutes total. So as those who are new to the podcast, I'm going to ask the guests some lightning round questions. They're very quick to answer. They're all business related. So the first question, Lou, who has been your greatest inspiration?
My dad. No doubt, my dad.
Okay. Which 3 adjectives describe your greatest strengths?
I'm a great listener. I think I'm a really good communicator. And with that, I really follow the discipline of leadership with surrounding myself with people like you and my fellow Catapult people. I love to surround myself with really top-notch people that allows me to lead. Like in our organization, you look at the people like Trevor and Shawnee and Aaron, they're just taking our company. And these are just great individuals. And I think leadership has allowed me to continue to grow.
Perfect. Do you have a hard time telling people no?
Yes.
Okay. What's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur in your opinion?
I think the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur is that the risk involved means failure at points. And I have had a lot of setbacks in all my entrepreneurial things. And that could be as a clinician, doing things, especially as a business person in Catapult, because we face ongoing challenges. So I'd say being an entrepreneur is accepting that you will have failure. But I teach all our children that failure is part of life. And if you didn't fail, you didn't try. So I look at entrepreneurship as you will fail, but it's all about building to success.
Perfect. What do you wish you knew when you had just started out?
I wish I knew you, but I was so focused on patients that I think in my later half of my career, the second half, my team really became the most important part of my daily life. And for example, I've only had 3 dental assistants my entire career. The value of the team is almost more important than what I know. That's the most important thing I think I've learned is the value of the team. And both in Catapult, but really in our dental offices because we're so intimately close.
Perfect. What book should you go back and reread as it made a great impact on you the first time?
My favorite book ever was Fountainhead. I've read it twice. I can't read it again because I like to challenge the norm, and Fountainhead challenges the norm, whether you like it or not. I read a lot of Adam Grant books, and Adam Grant just teaches. It's all about leadership and understanding growth and all that. So I like growth books. I really do.
All right. When you were a kid, what was the first thing you wanted to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be the quarterback of the New York Jets.
All right. That's a great one. How do you capture and keep track of ideas? Do you keep a notebook? Do you do voice memos? Probably not voice memos because you're not the techiest guy in the world. So,
right. I don't do voice memos. I actually do notes on my phone and notes during my day. So if you went into my office, you'd see notepads filled throughout. And then I just go back and I check those things off. Because if I don't write notes, it's not a good thing. So I still do written notes.
Okay. Sticky notes all over your
kind of, yes.
Yeah. And then last one, what is the one subscription you don't want to live without or you can't live without?
Oh, Netflix.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew that. That was perfect. All right. That was great. Great job. So Lou, how can people find out more about the various aspects of what Catapult offers?
I would love them to go to www.catapulteducation.com and become a subscriber. Because if you become a subscriber, we send out bi-monthly newsletters. We just formed this exclusive CE relationship with DPR. That just was announced. But if they go to Catapult Education, you'll see when we launch Catapult Grow, get on our wait list. There's no commitment, but I think everything will be through Catapult Education.
Okay. And again, just to reiterate, June 1st, hard launch for Catapult Grow. It's $199 per month. And there's also the opportunity to do some crowdsourcing investing, crowdfunding through Catapult Crown. And they're all available on the catapulteducation.com website.
Yes. For Crown, we've even created really cool our own site, and it's catapultcrown.com instead of education. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. If anybody has any questions for you, Lou, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I really love email. So it's Lou, it's LOU at catapulteducation.com. If you're a startup, if you're an individual who's looking for a little guidance, opportunities in speaking, writing, we'd love to hear from you. I mean, that's how Len and I have become so close working together. It's a great group, Len.
Yes, it is. I love being part of it. I love the camaraderie. I love the way we all work together and the way we help to grow each other. And Lou, and if you're at a meeting and Lou's speaking, make sure you go up and say hi to Lou. So he loves that type of interaction.
And I'll see you in September.
Yes.
Len, at your meeting.
Yes, my meeting, September 29th and 30th, 2023, Supercharge Your Dental Practice. If you can go to superchargeyourdentalpractice.com, check out more information on it. If you want to attend, we have a $100 discount for the word raving for raving patients. Get you $100 off the attendance or the registration.
Glenn, I'm just going to say you walk the walk. You have turned me on to so many ideas that I have now brought to Catapult into my practice. You are outside of the clinical box and much more into the business box of where dentistry is going. And I just want you to know that you're a fantastically engaging speaker, but I think so many of the companies, you're not like a bought and paid for guy. You really try to do your due diligence. And the vast majority of companies you have referred my way have been winners. So I just want to say thank you from everybody who's listening, that sometimes you don't get the thank you. So I'm just saying thank you to you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I don't always get the thank yous, but I'm kind of used to that now, but I do appreciate when I get it. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So guys, if you like this episode, please make sure you share it. Tell your colleagues about Catapult Grow and have them join the waiting list to be part of this new GPO that's coming out there. If you have questions for Lou, reach out. His team can help you and assist you with any questions. If you have questions about my meeting, please reach out to me. And as I end every single one of my episodes, don't forget, your reputation matters. Until the next episode, Lou, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll talk to everyone soon.
Thanks, Len.